Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really practical for businesses using SAP.
hmm
How does the system actually figure out which bits of a customer order should, count against their credit limit?
Yeah, it's key for managing financial risk effectively, isn't it?
Totally. It's about smart risk management, plain and simple.
Exactly. And for anyone extending credit, you really need to understand your true exposure. So this quick deep dive, it's all about showing you how SAP pinpoints what really matters for that credit limit.
Without getting bogged down in, like, every single line item unnecessarily.
Precisely. Think of it as understanding a key financial control mechanism.
Okay, so the core question then is, when you've got a sales order, right, and it has all sorts of stuff on it,
hmm
standard products, maybe a free sample they're throwing in, maybe a service, even, I don't know, a return item. How does SAP make the call? Which of those impact the credit check?
Yeah, good question. Because they shouldn't all have the same weight, should they? And this is where a specific piece of configuration in SAP S/4HANA Cloud comes into play. It's often part of the broader credit management setup. You might hear Scope Item 108 mentioned.
Okay.
The setting itself is called Determine Active Receivables per Item Category.
Determine active receivables per item category. Sounds descriptive.
It is. Essentially, it's how you tell the system which types of items should be considered part of the active receivables.
Active receivables meaning what the customer actually owes or is, like, committed to paying.
Exactly that. What represents a real financial commitment.
Okay, and you mentioned item category. That's SAP's way of labeling different kinds of things we sell, right? Like TAN or TAS.
That's the one. TAN for standard stuff, TAS maybe for third party. You might have others for services, free goods, etc. Each gets a code.
Gotcha. So how does that connect to the active receivables thing?
Well, for each of these item categories, there's a specific setting, like a checkbox. It's often called the credit active indicator.
Ah, the credit active indicator. So that's the switch.
That's the main switch, yeah. You basically go into the configuration for an item category and you decide, is this type of item relevant for credit checks? If yes, you check the box.
So it's like putting a flag on it saying, yes, count this one.
Pretty much. If that indicator is set for, say, TAN items,
Our standard products.
right, then whenever a TAN item is on an order, its value gets pulled into the credit check calculation against the customer's limit.
But if the indicator isn't set for another category, like maybe for free samples,
Then SAP just ignores items of that category when it does the credit check. Simple as that. It's a yes or no per item type.
okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So standard product, TAN, credit active, its value counts. Free gift, different category, not credit active. Its value doesn't hit the available credit,
Exactly. And that gives you really precise control.
which you need for accurate risk assessment, right?
Yeah.
You don't want non-revenue items skewing the picture.
Absolutely. It lets you tailor the credit check to focus only on the actual financial commitments the customer is making. Leads to, well, a much clearer view of your real exposure.
Okay, practical question then. If someone listening wants to, check this out in their own SAP system or maybe adjust it, where do they go?
Good point. The quickest way is often the transaction code, OVA7.
OVA 7.
Yep, OVA7. That takes you right there. Or if you prefer the menu path, you navigate through the IMG.
The implementation guide.
Oh,
Okay.
right. It's under sales and distribution, basic functions, then into credit management, risk management. Keep going to credit management, risk management settings.
Okay, I'm nearly there.
And then you'll find determine active receivables per item category. Both tabs lead to the same screen.
Got it.
Oh.
OVA 7 or the IMG path. And are there, like, standard recommendations?
Hmm.
Which categories should usually be credit active?
Generally, yeah. For your main sales items like TAN,
Uh-huh.
and often for third-party items like TAS, and maybe certain service items that are directly billable, sometimes you see categories like YBAB used for those. The usual guidance is, yes, make sure that credit active indicator is checked.
So check TAN, TAS, maybe things like YBAB.
Check the ones relevant to your core business, basically. Review them, make sure the flags are set correctly for your process, and then just remember to hit save.
Makes sense. So after you've done that configuration, set those flags and saved. What's the immediate impact?
The immediate impact is that from that point on, whenever a sales order contains items belonging to those categories you marked as credit active.
The ones with the flag set.
Correct. The value of those specific items will automatically be included when the system performs a credit check for that customer. It just sharpens the focus of the credit review onto what matters financially.
Okay, so wrapping this up a bit, the key takeaway is that this determine active receivables per item category setting is, well, crucial. It gives you fine-grained control.
It really does. Control over how specific sales order items impact credit limits, which ultimately leads to better, smarter financial risk management.
Better risk management.
Exactly. And maybe a provocative thought for you listening.
Oh, I like these.
How could fine-tuning these specific item category settings ripple through different parts of your business?
Beyond just the credit check itself.
Yeah. Think about sales, how you structure deals or promotions. Think about logistics.